hey, couch critics in person.
Yeah.
Not on a couch, but actually found a little football stadium to film our review of the last round.
Where we're at, Samuel?
We're at the home of Sydney University Football Soccer Club, I think is their official name.
Football soccer, geez, make your mind up.
My local club. I've come and watched some NPL games here throughout the season, particularly the women's, who you get to see actual A-League women's players.
Yeah, you said they've won the comp 5 years in a row, so they're doing pretty well out here.
Pretty good. So, yeah, it's a nice little setup here. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the A-League. We're talking about the round that was
the name of the channel. That's what we talk about. Yeah, let's go.
The round that just was, and we'll launch into the fixtures for this weekend. Again, if you enjoy this content, leave a like and make sure to subscribe so that you get to see all of our videos, weekly videos, all about the A-League, special topics, promotion, relegation, second division chat, Socceroos, football jerseys, anything you want. Let's have a quick just run through the fixtures that happened. Brisbane, Western Sydney Wanderers, 1-1 draw.
Caught it. Told you it'd be a draw.
It's a bit disappointing from the Wanderers, really.
I think it's the tail of the season. First half, fantastic. Probably should have scored 2 more. Bruno Borrello scored a banger. But it was offside. So. Yeah. And replay showed it. And then just, fell asleep for a bit in the second half and Brisbane scored. It's pretty poor.
Yeah.
But when we can finally string up the foot, we're still doing pretty well. It's a fairly new squad, and to be sitting second at this stage in the season, we're doing quite well.
Yeah. It's a good result for Brisbane, though.
Yeah. So. Good goal from Amiento, I think, from Brisbane as well.
Absolutely. Then the distance derby, Perth beat Wellington.
Didn't watch it.
Perth did pretty well again. Okay. I think they're going to make that a bit of a fortress.
Yeah.
That's a win and a draw from their 2 games there, so hopefully that continues. Wellington just wasn't their best match, but that's okay. Now the reason I'm wearing this MacArthur jersey feels a bit gross. Yeah, it is. A fan of ours bet us that if MacArthur won, we would have to buy some MacArthur merch, and if our teams beat MacArthur, then he would buy our team's merch. And yeah, Sydney were atrocious. Lolly getting a red card, didn't look great. Not Sydney's best game. MacArthur definitely deserved those 3 points. Probably flattered them, but...
Yeah, I think by the end, but still, they weren't particularly great. You saw Redmayne at the end, he was pissed at his teammates.
It's just not good. We need centre-backs.
Yeah.
Western United versus Melbourne Victory. Small crowd, no Victory fans.
I did watch this game,
Western with a goal. Was it Previc?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was Previc. Previc scored against the Wanderers the previous week. I can't remember who it was. He's grabbed to you. But from the game I watched, I thought, they returned to their best last season. The 1-0 scorelines were their speciality last year, defending quite well. They weren't really troubled. Victory not looking particularly good at the moment. Obviously, there's a lot going on at the moment. So, how much we can read into it, who knows? But
it's just what Western do well: score scrappy goals and hold out defensively. Maybe they're back. Maybe. Melbourne City, Central Coast Mariners. The heat really let this one down.
I think if we had better conditions, I think the players might have tried a bit more. But you can't blame them when it's 39 degrees heat. I mean, football shouldn't be playing that. No sport should be played in that kind of weather.
It could have been an incredible match. As it was, City get the win. They're very happy with that. They stay top of the table. Mariners probably feel like they probably could have had a better crack if the conditions were better.
Yeah, for sure.
And last game of the round was Adelaide at home to Newcastle. And a bit of a shock here. Newcastle
quite warm conditions for this as well.
It was.
They had 3 drink breaks in the first half. If it's once again probably shouldn't have been played. Yeah. But I think Newcastle played quite well. I think Adelaide were quite poor. Maybe it was the conditions, and when you're playing in 38 degrees heat, I think that actually should be a fairly decent excuse. But
it's still big deflection for Piscopo's goal as well. But credit to Newcastle, they held out in that second half and took home the points. So I think probably the big losers of the round were any fan having to sit in the sun.
Yeah, for sure.
It was hot. And Sydney FC, big losers. Joe Lolly, that red card.
There was no real malice. It was just a poor touch. And
his studs hit the leg though.
100%. And it's just, I think there's no malice in it, but it's just the way he tried it.
2 weeks
sloppy.
is rough. 2 weeks is rough. With no malice in it, I think he's the big loser of the round.
I think probably because the studs are up and it's quite hard to shit. But anyway,
that's the loser of the round. I think the winners of the round. Who do you think the big winners were?
Western United.
Yeah.
really starting to come back now. It's 2 wins in a row for them. That'll be good for them.
Beating Victory as well, like, it's good for their fan base. And
I guess it's a win too, because that victory, like, I know rightly so that the fans weren't there, but they really bring an extra, like the 12th man for victory. So for Western not to have that victory supporter base there heckling them, I think that was a boost for them.
Pretty huge. All right, let's move to this weekend's fixtures. Of course, we're heading towards New Year's Eve.
Yep.
And so we have got on Saturday, we've got tonight.
Friday night.
Friday night.
Yeah.
That's tonight. It's Friday.
It's a Friday. Oh, beauty. I'm just thinking it's been Thursday all week. This is that awkward period between Christmas and New Year's. You don't know what's going on. Anyway, tonight.
It is Friday, tonight.
I have to upload this, like, as soon as we get
If
back.
not, you know we filmed it beforehand.
Yeah.
Western United home to Brisbane. I have to say Western are going to snag this 1-0. It's not going to be I don't think it's going to be an entertaining game of football.
No, I don't think so too. But John Allen and his men know how to get a result. So
yeah.
Sneaky 1-0 win, maybe 2-0 if they're lucky.
Yeah. Then we've got Central Coast Mariners home to Melbourne Victory. It's not the Jets on New Year's Eve, but it is the traditional Central Coast New Year's Eve game. Mariners are favourites for this. I have to agree with the odds for this. I think
stuff the odds. But yeah, I'd have to agree.
They'll want to come back after a disappointing game against City.
Yeah.
And Victory, again, like we said, maybe it's not as bad. They didn't get humiliated, but the club is hurting, and I think it's going to continue.
And I think it'll be good. This will be Garen Qual's last game in the Mariners, unless he gets loaned back. So hopefully there'll be a good crowd tomorrow night to send him off.
That would be awesome. Yeah, Garen Qual, get down and see him. Then we've got the 1st of January, Newcastle up against Sydney, up in the Newey McDonald Jones Stadium. Is that what it's called?
Well, technically, if we take the sponsor out, it's the Newcastle International Sports Centre. But
wow, interesting.
Newcastle's probably a lot easier just to say.
It's interesting. This is a good. I think Newcastle have potential to win here, definitely. Sydney are not having a good season. When their brand of football works, it works, and when it doesn't, Stevie Corica seems to have no plan B, and he just runs with it. And so you look at the last 2 games for Sydney, it didn't work, and they get beaten. The game against City, it worked. I think clubs have already figured out their new style. You know where Grant and Caballo go. I actually think the Jets are going to win this.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't rate Newcastle much of a team, but they've got to win. Sydney FC are in poor form.
Yeah.
It smells like a Newcastle result, but I don't think Sydney FC can play as bad as they did last week. Corica's job's on the line.
Yeah.
It might be already done already. Who knows? But he needs a result here.
If they lose to Jets and we end up bottom of the table, I think it could be bye-bye Steve. I don't think they've got that
Happy
much
Christmas.
patience.
Merry Christmas.
Then we've got the Wanderers up against MacArthur. Yeah. So next week you could be in a MacArthur kit as well. Is that right?
No, he said MacArthur merchandise.
I know where some cheap stuff is now. Rebel.
Yeah. I'd rather get a beanie or a little tiny sticker. Yeah, this will be my first game of the year. I haven't been to a game all year. Come that day, so it should be. I'm hoping for a decent crowd. It is technically a derby.
Technically,
whether it's treated as seriously,
the Western Sydney
maybe
derby?
MacArthur treated a bit more seriously than we do, but we're yet to beat MacArthur in the comp, so
wow.
A win against them would be really good, but we just can't finish at the moment. I reckon once we start finishing, once we start firing goals, Yengi's out, so hopefully he might be back, but once we start firing in front of goals, I think we'll be fine. We'll do quite well, but we really need to sort ourselves up. MacArthur, good result against Sydney FC last week, but probably the scoreline flattered them a bit. But still, MacArthur, they're a real up and down team. When they're on, they're on. When they're off, they don't play particularly well. But
yeah, again, their attack, they've got weapons in attack, and I think they can hurt teams. Wanderers have a good defence. I think we're looking at a draw, to be honest.
Another draw, but I love it.
And then the final game. 2 more games to go. Wellington versus Melbourne City.
Well, Jamie and Maclaren to score for sure.
It's in Wellington. Maclaren will score, of course. Yeah, it'll be a penalty.
Or a tap in of some sort.
Maclaren. Sorry.
Wow. You sound like one of those Ronaldo fanboys. Oh, Messi only scores penalties. They should call him Messi.
No, look. I find Wellington hard to predict what they're gonna do. Who's gonna be good? So I think City are looking really good there.
Yeah. You know, they've got a game in hand. They're already 4 points clear of Wanderers in second.
Yeah. They look too good.
They win that catch-up game against Victory. gosh, like they're really starting to pull away.
I mean, when you got someone like Valon Barisha in your squad,
Like, he's class, and I just worry that they might start to run away with it. But if the other clubs aren't going to lift up to him, but they're looking really good.
Final game of the round is Adelaide at Perth on Monday, the 2nd of January.
Adelaide against Perth.
Adelaide against Perth. What did I say?
At Perth.
Out against
Anyway.
Perth in Adelaide.
Yep.
They don't want to make it 2 home losses in a row.
Sure.
I think Adelaide will come out. I'm not sold. I think One Day hasn't been great. I think Isaias hasn't been great. And I think their other Spaniard, Yavi Lopez, also hasn't been great this season. I would love to see them play more Aussie players in those positions rather than these old Spaniards.
Yeah.
I think they still will beat Perth. I don't think Perth are great at travelling. I think
It's their shortest road trip though.
It is their closest,
Their local rival, I guess.
Yeah, interesting. Another derby. Who do you think's going to be the big surprise? Who's going to shock everyone this A-League round?
I think Wellington's going to shock everyone and beat Melbourne City.
Interesting. I think Maclaren might score a non-penalty and shock everyone. Maybe even from outside the box. That would be a shock.
His goal last week was not a penalty, but it was a tap. It was in the box. Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah. No. Hard to tell who will actually shock. I think MacArthur are actually going to. No, I can't. I don't think that. Maybe Leo Lacroix comes back and actually has a solid game.
They've played well without him. 2 wins in a row without him. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, rough. Anyway, that's our review of last round, our preview for this round. Again, like I said, if you enjoy this kind of content, you want to keep watching these videos, leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what your predictions are, and we'll catch you next time.